Well, hello, everybody. You know who it is, and you know what it is. It's your girl Rain, and my co-pilot on the phone with me, y'all. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. So I had said on my little Insta story that I was going to be doing me a vision board. So I decided. Oh no. I decided to bring y'all along with the kid. Ooh, y'all see my extra. It's gonna go away in a minute. Don't worry about it. But anyway, today is my first, or shall I say our first, because my co-pilot here might as well make it a randomly rain, chance of rain moment. Who knows what can happen? What make it happen? But anyway, it's gonna be my first Free Your Mind Friday. Yeah. Hey, and look. Boom boom. Colorblind, don't be so jealous. Boom boom. Free. Oh. Anyway, my bad. I'm back. Yeah. So this morning when I had rose and told the Lord thank you for another day, He had dropped something in my spirit about how I can start, like giving y'all a little more of the girl rain. You know what I'm saying? A little rouse about stuff. So one of the things that He told me dropped in my spirit to do was to have a Free Your Mind Friday where you just do something. I guess like for me today, I'm gonna free my mind by doing my vision board that's been on the back burner for I don't know since my co-pilot did hers and I fell in love with it. And I had said I was gonna follow in her footsteps, but sometimes that's not how life works. But anywho, Chance, speak to the people, girl. Girl, they can hear me. Yes, they can hear you. And I've been singing. It's okay. They so used to you singing, that ain't nothing new. What up? What up? What up? Woo! It's the co-pilot for me. Oh, but anyway. So I'm sitting on the floor, and if y'all didn't get to watch the Instagram, I call it the Insta story, the Insta live, or the randomly rain from earlier on the Insta, I had went to the Dollar Tree, and I had got some stuff that I had needed for to make my thing pretty and unique like me. I'm rare. But I got some little markers. Sorry, the glare. Got some little markers. Dollar Tree really be having some good stuff. And these was the bomb.com. Me and my co-pilot was on the phone when I found these. These is some butterflies with blue and yellow. Ah, so excited! The stickers. And then I had gotten some little, see if I can get the glare out of it. I had gotten some little letters. Mm-hmm. So I already had some matte pencils. So that's what I was about to get into. So while I was doing it, I decided I should just try to share it with y'all. So of course you're not gonna be able to see my actual vision board right now because your girl just starting off in this blogging influencer type situation. So I don't have everything I need, but I will show y'all the finished product later on. Okay. So Free My Mind Friday. Chance, what you think you would free your mind on? Like if you had something that was on your spurt. Not my spurt. And this will be the day that you free it and forgive and forget if you need to, or forgive and remember if you need to, or just like let it off your chest, let it all hang out, free your mind. What would you free your mind on? I had to hang out with my wang out. If you had to rock out with the cock out. Whoa. Yeah. This might not be good for your cheering because my co-pilot here, so I'm gonna let you know if this is for cheering or not. I wonder if I should do this in pencil first and then. I would probably say
I'd probably just say to embrace where you are in your life.
Ooh, that was deep. What you mean?
Because I think a lot of times we oftentimes compare ourselves to people, things, and
that girl say we compare ourselves.
We do. We compare ourselves to people, and we're like you just said it. You was talking about your vision board, and you were saying I had made my vision board, and you had liked my vision board, and you was like, you ain't know. I can't remember exactly what you said. You know what I'm talking about.
I was supposed to have did it a while ago, but that's not how.
Said it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that we tend to take away from ourselves when we do that, because I've recently come to the understanding and grasp the fact that all of the things in my life that I thought were horrible things, or I couldn't understand why that happened, everything was for a reason. Like, I have slowly started to understand what it means when they say that God is intentional and that everything works in your favor. I'm starting to understand what that means day by day. I would just say, don't compare yourself, and wherever you are, whether it's where you want to be or not, embrace that, because baby, let me tell you something.
Let me tell you, when I tell you what I tell you, say you did. You say you did.
Girl, look.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I agree with that.
I'm just saying, don't hold on to nothing or nobody that is not for you. And help people live their truth.
Ooh. When you say help people live their truth, you mean like
whatever their truth is to them.
As part of our
that pertains to you.
You mean as part of our like our mission work and stuff like that? We should be able to help people.
Nope. I mean, like, help people live their truth as it pertains to you.
Oh, whoop.
If somebody say they don't mess with you, help them live their truth. I'm gonna help you not mess with me. Yeah. But I'm gonna need you to keep that same energy when you need something or want something. Though. Don't mess. Continue to not mess with me. I'm gonna help you live your truth. That's what I'm saying. Stop holding on to people and things.
Honey.
Learn how to let stuff go.
Honey.
And people and things, let it go. I think you better let it go. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm saying.
Baby. I felt that in my spirit.
Some of them might even hurt a little bit, but go on and take your hands off of it.
He did.
Go on and put that down. That's what I would say. Ooh, that's what I'm learning.
Yeah.
On my prayers are Friday. I'm praying up my life, my time, my energy for the things and people that are supposed to be in it. Like I saw one of my friends say. One of my friends said, "This season of my life is by invite only, baby."
Ooh, you gotta be VIP. You got to have
you can't even show up to this party.
You got the RSVP for your spot, so nobody else can take your table.
You got to be invited.
Ooh.
You're not.
Because sometimes you send out an invite. Sometimes we send out invite to people who didn't even really deserve an invite, but just because we feel like we might be still stuck in that time frame where, or in that season where we feel like we don't want to, we worried about what the person might say if we don't invite them, or we feel like we might lose our blessings if we don't invite this person. So what you saying is be intentional about who you invite.
Yes, ma'am. Invite. You got to have the people that you invite to be, like when Jesus picked his 12 people. He picked them 12 people before anything happened. So them people wasn't there because he had done all of these wonderful, beautiful things. He picked them before. Did he pick the people before he did anything?
You mean the 12 disciplines, like Medea said, the 12 disciplines?
Yeah, the disciplines.
Yes, he did. Sure no.
And then they came with him.
Sure did.
Other people want to come don't nobody want to come in at the ground level when you building. Don't nobody want to be there. But everybody want to be there at the top. Party like a rock star. No.
I remember when they didn't have this, that, and the third. They was sleeping on my couch and stuff. No, you ain't never slept on that couch a day in your life. They ain't had a couch. They was sleeping on your couch.
Girl.
Say you did. Yeah.
That's what I say.
Now, I do believe, that some people, life happened, and they had to go through their own seasons, own journeys. But you should know those people from, like Pastor said, the observers and the supporters. The observers and the servers is what Pastor Ramos said. So you should know the difference between, if they should be like Pastor Keon say, dismissed or dispatched. You should know those that, they cool with being behind the scene people. Cause I got some people that's been in my life a long time, and they really cool with being behind the scenes. They really prefer to stay a silent partner. They really prefer to stay, in the back. They don't really need to. They don't really care if you might not never shout them out, like with their whole full name and middle name and everything, or as long as and they know who they are and what they mean to you, is like they really cool with that. But you got some that you have to make sure you give props what props is due. Like you should make sure, and the props that you give should be justified. Like it should go with that person, no matter what anybody else has to say about it. Is what I feel.
See, I don't know. I don't really look at it as necessarily as props. It's just showing people that you care and that you appreciate them, because everybody has different gifts. And everything's not always about money or anything. Like people have different gifts and talents.
Yeah.
So they give in different ways. They support and uplift and motivate and inspire you in different ways. Everybody's going to be different. But I'm saying it's really just about appreciation and reciprocation and accountability. For me.
Well, when I say props, I meant kind of like what Pastor had taught us to do the other night when me and you was watching Tackle the Text and in the sermon and stuff like that, when he was like,
well, that mug was on fire.
When I just had to stop in the middle of us writing our notes to go and say thank you. Because sometimes it's true, sometimes you really do get caught up in the moment or get caught up in the trials and tribulations that you might be going through, and you might forget to say, what you would have normally said before now. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you really get caught up in the rah-rah. You know what I'm saying? And that person can, and I got that from Chandel, may you rest in peace. Yeah, sometimes you get caught up in the rah-rah and you don't get to give that person their flowers when you should have, even though it's been in the back of your mind, you know what I mean? So that's why I say.
That's why I said that comes with that's what I meant when I said appreciation and reciprocity and accountability. You have to do them things, and if you do those things on a daily basis, nobody is looking for you to have to be like, shout out to A B C D E F G, because they already know.
A B C D E.
They already know that you appreciate them. Like what most people say, you don't have to be explained because you already know that. But when you don't, and I'm not saying that sometimes you don't want to give people a special thank you, because you do. Yeah. And you just want them to know that you appreciate them, and that's fine. I'm not opposed to that either. I do it too.
Yeah. So for me, I think that for my free my mind, I think I would have to say I have probably three different areas that I would like to free my mind on. First and foremost is what we already talking about. Like it's okay to finally allow yourself to take inventory of who's who's a spectator, who's a fan, and who's a follower and a supporter. Because I'm gonna say it like kind of like how Pastor Keon say, sporting events, concerts, people go to spectate. They go there because they're a fan. Yeah, they're a wheel watcher. I'm a wheel watcher. But when you have a true follower, a true supporter, um, a true ride or die, silent partner sometimes, then it makes your life a little bit easier because you're not weighed down by other people's trash in your trash can. You're not weighed down by other people's books in your backpack. Because sometimes, when you're people like you and I are, we tend to pick up other people's issues just because that's just how God created us. And it can't always be like that. Because when it's time for us to have to pack our own issues or throw away our own trash, our trash can's full. Our hands full, our arms full, our minds full, our hearts full, you know? And then it leaves us in a vulnerable, broken place.
That's the perfect. I don't even know if I told you if I did I ever tell you. It reminded me about when you said that. It reminded me about this poem that I had wrote, and I don't know if I had told you if I had read it to you or not. But it was. Did I read you that poem that I wrote called "Getting Back to Me"?
You told me about it, but I don't think you read it to me.
That's exactly what it was about, baggage. And you just made me think about that. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, so for me and my co-pilot, for those of you who do not really know a lot about that part of my co-pilot, is that she and I have lives that parallel each other in so many different ways. And I really and truly thank God for him connecting us together the way he did and when he did and how he did. But sometimes it blows my mind just how she can call and say, girl, say such, say he did say such. And I'll be like, yeah, girl. Tell me why. I literally just had this scenario. It'd be like parallel. So I'm getting off track. I said all that to say, even in me and my co-pilot's sisterhood, I dropped the ball so many times. And I end up beating myself up so much about dropping the ball where she's concerned because I know what type of sister she is. And second of all, I'm a really hard critic on myself. I am my own worst critic. So, oh, sorry, my phone had a message. But I have dropped the ball in our sisterhood so many times. And so many times I had to actually, before I could even think of picking up the phone or texting or calling her to apologize for me dropping the ball, I literally had to go to God, like, to make sure that I, can check myself. Like, sometimes we have to be willing to check ourselves when it comes down to our relationships. Whether it's a business relationship, whether it's a sistership, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a homie lover friendship. And a lot of times it's easier for us to point the finger at the other person when in all actuality you was the wrong one. You were the weakest link, you know? So for me it's easier to be able to not so much chastise myself, but it's easier for me to have a come to Jesus moment when it's somebody that I know is genuinely in my corner. And for me, and I'm pretty sure my co-pilot feels the same way, but for me, it's already hard for me to just let people in that way, even though I've never met a stranger. I really feel like I've never met a stranger. I literally feel like I can be cool and cordial with pretty much anyone. But when it comes down to my serious inner circle, like people seriously getting to know who Shantara is, and if you don't know, Rain's name is Shantara. So the person that you see as Rain is just that. She is a figment of my imagination, a person that God helped me create to be able to talk to you without shutting down, in a sense. So she is my Sasha Fierce, I guess you could say. Anyway, whenever you take the time to sit down or be still, be quiet, and you actually ask God with your whole heart from a sincere place to show you who are the snakes in the grass, who are the wolves in sheep clothing, please remove this person from me because they always hurting me.
You better be careful when you pray that prayer, cause
yeah, and if you pray it and you trust and believe that God is going to do it, and you're willing to accept what he says or what he does,
baby, listen.
It can be mind
It's gonna
blowing.
shock you, and it's gonna hurt.
Oh
and
yeah.
You're gonna have to roll with the punches, cause just what you had said.
Please believe me.
God, show me the people that are not right for me.
Mm-hmm.
Remove the people who mean me no good. Take those people out of my life. But see, the problem is that most times when we pray that prayer, we don't really know who those people are. And we usually think that it's other people, or that it's not. Like when he shows you the person that it is, you'll be like, what?
Can't be.
Not
couldn't possibly be.
Why? And then now you hurt, you got crying, and you sad, and you are discombobulated. Like, but I thought, yeah, well, you thought wrong.
No, for me, he'd be like, did you ask me to tell me what the answer is, or did you ask me because you didn't know? Because I'm God. I know everything. You know nothing, except for what I allow you to learn. But what Chance and I are trying to say is that it be when God starts to perform surgery on you in those areas, it is painful because he literally has to cut a piece of you that you have taken upon yourself that has grown with you a lot of times for decades out of you. It's almost like Chance and I have both have had hysterectomies. Sorry, Chance, I'm telling you business, but it just flowed out. But she and I both have had these surgeries, and they literally had to put us to sleep to cut us open. But when God removes remove people and remove leeches and remove snakes and show you who these wolves and sheep clothing are, a lot of times you'll be wide awake.
A lot?
A lot of times you be wide awake, and sometimes
he don't put you to sleep. He be like, "Oh, here you go, bow."
Yep. And sometimes your eyes be wide open, and they be right in front of you. Apollo line. And
not Apollo line.
Apollo line, like Medea say, Apollo line. And you know they Apollo line. And while they in the midst of the Apollo line, God is saying, "I did not tell you." And sometimes you can't sometimes they don't show you who they are so that you can believe them. Like, you know, like the cliche go, if a person show you who they are, believe them. Sometimes they be in some nice facade type packages. You really have no clue. You be like, shut up and show me.
Well, question, look at
Well, like my aunt Marcia said,
you
well,
over
what
there
is
looking how
it?
you looking.
Say it. Oh, but that's my main thing. I know that for me, my free your mind first statement would have to be, if you know that you mean a person no good, I would rather you tell, like, I'm gonna just use myself. If you know that you mean me no good, I would rather you look me dead set in the eye and be like, I can just come in and get what I can get from you right quick and I'm gonna move off. You know, like, it just is what it is. Like, I would literally rather that. Of course, you know, that's not how it happens, but I would rather someone be brutally honest, give me a chance to think about it, because sometimes I might want to roll with it. I might be like, okay, you just want to use me for a minute, I just want to use you too. We can use each other. Instead of allowing me to fall into this rhythm with you, and then now my life messed up because the rhythm don't make sense without you, because there's no rhyme to it. So that's first thing. First thing is, like Pastor Keon and Pastor Ram and Pastor Torrance taught us the past 2 weeks, is you need to check your surroundings. Cut your grass every day so you can see the snakes for who they are. Recognize who your Judases are. Sometimes, just like Jesus, you pick your betrayers. You know that they're nothing but a betrayer, but for a moment they serve a certain purpose. So just know who your Judas are. Like the Bible said, keep your friends closer and your enemies closer. Like, know who they are. Try to understand that as God takes you from level to level, dimension to dimension, you're going to lose people. You're going to
learn
lose.
To be okay with that.
Yeah, your entourage is gonna go to very few. Like Medea said, you only have a very few roots at the bottom of one of the biggest, strongest trees, but you will have a lot of branches and a gazillion leaves. Some people can only, he and she said, some people can only be a leaf and a branch and a twig and give you shade every now and then. But when you find them roots that you know that you can stand on, like Pastor Keon and them said, have you somebody that can raise you up
and lower you. Don't forget that one now.
Okay.
That was the tea right there.
Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Cause that baby, when he said that, he had really thoroughly jacked me off.
No, cause I was like, boy, you better say it, cause it ain't all about lifting you up.
Somebody gotta knock the orange balls off of you, like Pastor Todd said.
Yeah, like I was telling somebody this the other day. If you really care about somebody, of course, yes, you're going to. Well, you should if you really and truly care about somebody. Nobody has to ask you if you really love and care about somebody. Nobody has to ask you to support that person, to motivate that person, to inspire that person, to help that person, to support that person. And I'm not talking about money. Excuse me. No one has to tell you to do these things. Just like if you really care about somebody, you're not going to watch a person that you love and care about walk into a fire and not be like, don't go that way. It's a big old fire right there. It's hot. Don't go that way. Go to the left, go to the right, turn around. Like, you're not just going to stand there and watch them walk into danger. You're not going to do that. If you do that, you don't care about them. Now, that don't mean that they're going to always listen to what you say. But you still tell them and warn them about what's ahead.
Yep.
Now, once you've done that, your job is done. If they decide to walk through the fire, I mean, if they don't get burnt up, then when they come out, you're gonna be like, but I told you it was a fire right there. Like, then you got to help bandage the burns and stuff. But you don't just watch them walk through it. And that's what they're saying while lowering somebody. You also have to be there to tell them when they messing up.
Yep.
Like, come here, because you got a real big head. Come here, let me take some of that air out, because you're doing too much.
Oh, that girl said, "Cause let me pop you right quick. Let me
pop that. Let me stick this pen in. Let some of that, because you got the big head. You doing way too much. And if you don't have them kind of people, and especially if you can't take, if you can't take somebody giving you constructive criticism and helping you along the way, if you can't be corrected, you a fool.
Right. Cause I'm gonna tell y'all, Chance is the person that have to lower me down a lot of times. Cause I'm the type of person that I literally have to bust my knee to the white meat and bone, to the tendons, stick my finger in there and be like, oh, I tore that up for me to get something. I don't know why I'm like that, but I've been like that my whole life. She'll be like, nigga, Neville, that's not how any of this works. But I know that you gonna probably 9 times 10 be talking about I did it already. Don't worry about it. But Chance is also the type of person to where she know you gonna probably do it the way you want to do it. But as long as she knows that she said, I don't think that was a good idea. But what I love about her is that she supports you no matter what you do. Because she can take the air out of you, but she can also be there to help put the salve on it, put a patch on it, and help put some salve back in it so you can roll a little while longer. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of people you need. And you have to make sure that you don't wear them thin. Cause a lot of times they get tired of telling you, no, nigga, no. And eventually sometimes she'll be like, well, you go right on ahead then. I told you, don't go over there, the dog gonna bite you in your ass. But you gonna go over there and twerk in front of it anyway. So I'll make sure I go to the dollar store and get, the little bandages and stuff to put on your ass let the dog bite you. But I told you the dog over there. Okay. And then sometimes I'll be like, the dog bit me. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'll call you tomorrow. And we'll talk about it then. But right now, the dog bit you. You say the dog bit you? How he bit you? You say the dog bit you? How he bit you? Okay, well, they ain't got nothing to do with me. You be all right. Go lay down.
You better go get a tetanus shot or what?
Lay down and take a nap. You'll be all right.
Shot. What they call them when you get bit by a dog? You gotta go get the shot.
Yep.
That one. You gotta go get that. Call me when you get back from the hospital.
Or I'll call you when I wake up tomorrow. Text me and let me know you made it back safe somewhere. And when I wake up, I'll call you and check and see.
Do you know how long it took me to even get to that? Because I used to run myself crazy, worrying about people and trying to help everybody fix everything. And then I had to realize, like, these people is grown. They're going to do what they want to do.
I just said where they at when you need to be helped.
You have to love people regardless. Mm-hmm. And even when they do the stuff that you don't think they should do, you still have to love them. And it's just one of them things, like, I finally come to that understanding, like, I don't have to agree with everything that somebody does, because if somebody ain't going to agree with everything that I know that. That's true. And let me tell you, I have done some stupid things in my life. Which is why I could be on the other side over here waving the flag like, don't do. I feel like,
don't do it, Miss Seeley.
Don't trade places with me. It ain't worth it.
Had that jail and they're about to rock to that.
I'm trying to say, but I also know that sometimes you gotta bump your head. Like you can't save everybody from everything. You can't.
Don't save her.
You can't tell nobody what to do. So I just be like, okay.
Okay. I'll be here when you tell you.
That's all I got. Okay.
I'll be somewhere around stinking when you come out on the other side of it. So that's my first thing. Second thing I would say is, oh, this is gonna hurt. Whew. My second free your mind would have to be about relationships outside of sisterhood, brotherhood, family, friends. But it would have to be about the relationship within yourself. Because a lot of times, see how I can put this. A lot of times, like for myself, like I said before, I'm my own worst critic. I am very hard on myself, especially when I be done tore my knee up. And I knew better, because I know not 98% of the time, no, I ain't stop lying. 85% of the time, I did it truly from my heart. I truly was following my heart. Didn't pay no attention to my mind or my common sense. I truly did it from my heart. And I'm saying that to say, wait, let me back up. I did it from my heart. So, whenever you get to a point to where you go all in on something, like on a poker table, you go all in on a situation, and the other opponent on the poker table supposed to be your partner. Let's say spades table, supposed to be your partner, right?
God.
You're telling your partner who has played with you this game numerous of times. You will say, well, I believe I have 5 and 2 possibles, right?
Not 2 possible.
They say strong or weak possibles. I'll be like, they in between strong and weak. They can do a little something.
Medium.
They medium. They can do a little something. They got a little spank on them a little bit. Okay. They say, don't worry about nothing. I got about 4. Maybe I got a possible, but it's a weak possible. Okay. So for me, the spade player that I am, I have 5 for sure. And I'm gonna ask you, you sure you got 4? For sure, 4. Okay. They're gonna be like, yeah, I got you. I got 4. 5 and 4 all day is 9. All day. Okay. Now
I thought most people don't even let you go 9 when you play spades.
Hold on. Peep what I'm saying. But
hold what you got, don't panic.
Hold what you got, don't panic. That's 9. Okay. A Boston is 10. Right? So I'm saying, I know in my hand, my possibility game is strong, okay? And you say you got a weak one. Anyway you hit it, we should be bidding 10. Okay. So I say let's go 10. They say bet. So we in the game. We in the mix of the thing. We shaking the bacon, right? Tell me why at the end of the hand you done made all 10 books by yourself. So you looking at your so-called partner like, Well, if I could do this by myself, but you swear you the coldest partner, why do I need you? So I said all that to say this. So if you know that you have gotten yourself in a partnership, you did it like our cousin say in the name of love, and that situation might go sour, and you ask God, what do I do now? 9 times out of 10, God allowed you to go through that situation, even though He might have sent somebody like a chance. Even if he himself might have thumped you upside the head and say, I don't think that's how it's supposed to go. That's not how any of this works. But you go ahead and move with your move, right? Please do not check out on yourself, because the answer that He give you, or the punishment that He give you for being disobedient, or moving ahead of Him, might be, because a lot of times He only chastises those He loves, and we are His children. He's just like our earthly father and mother. If you have one of those old school mother and fathers like I had, you're gonna catch some type of punishment for being disobedient. So sometimes that punishment is really and truly for you to learn the lesson. And it has to have a certain amount of pressure to it for you to actually get it. Like I said, I'm the type of person to where I'll bust my knee open. So I feel like in my situation that I'm speaking of, a lot of you all already know I'm having some issues in my marriage, right? And I felt like the partnership that my husband and I entered into, because it had been tried and tested already, and because he acted like he had the stack hand to match mine, that we were going to be able to just run a Boston for the rest of our life together. Even though I knew the possibilities that could come out of the hand that we had. Because Bible say for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, for a reason. So anyway, I said all that to say, I had to take some time to actually allow God to explain to me that you can't count yourself out before you count yourself in. And you can't expect to win the game playing with the wrong partner who can't communicate. You have to, in a spade game, you have to be able to communicate with your partner without even opening your mouth. You have to be able to trust your partner no matter what, because you can't talk the table, you can't talk the hand, you can't talk the game. So you have to know each other. And before you enter into a situation, a relationship with somebody like that, you need to be able to know how they communicate. You need to be able to know if they're gonna renege. You need to be able to know if they underbid. So it's the same thing in a relationship. So for me to free my mind, I picked and accepted the wrong partner, even though I know how to play the game, because I've been married before. He hasn't. I'm older. He's younger. Um, I was raised with both of my parents in the household and a bonus dad. He only had his mother. You know, so I knew that I had kind of I set myself up, but I thought that because God allowed certain things to transpire, that everything was gonna work out the way I saw it in my head. And now I'm starting all the way over from square one. But I am grateful to start over from square one. That's what I really said all that to say. I am grateful for the missed deals, the reneges, the underbids, because it taught me how to appreciate when the right partner comes. That's what I'll say. Can't you sleep on me, girl?
No, I was listening.
Oh, so
that was deep.
I mean, yeah. So, and sometimes you gotta, what's the word? What's how I want to put that? Sometimes you have to be okay with bowing out gracefully. Sometimes you have to be okay with taking a major L so that you could be able to set yourself up to win. And my father always taught me, don't play the game if I can't win. You play to win every time, and you give it your best shot. You're not gonna always win, but you play like you plan to win, and you set yourself up. You pick the tools that you need to make sure that you give yourself the best shot at it. And I didn't do that. So faith without work is dead. Yes, God was in the midst of it, but I didn't take the time to be patient enough to really wait and see what God was telling me to do. I assumed what I thought God was saying, even though He was showing me left and right, like maybe this ain't what you were supposed to do. So, yeah, that was my part two, and part three from Free My Mind will be, please don't come out of this pandemic the same way you went in.
Oh,
There should be no reason why you should allow yourself to not be a better or the best version of yourself after this pandemic. God allowed this pandemic to come upon His children so that we can submit to God, resist the devil, and allow him to flee. To turn from our wicked ways, acknowledge God, and allow Him to direct our path. He blessed us all with significant gifts and callings and destinies and purposes for a reason. It's time for us to start using them. And it's time for us to start going back and see about those people that He placed on our hearts a long time ago. While we over here trying to hold up and help the ones that can't be saved by us, it's not our assignment. Sometimes we take on people or situations that God never said that was our assignment. And this like trying to put a key in a door that it wasn't cut for. You are cut for a certain key, certain door, certain purpose. You need to stick to the river and streams that you used to. So in the midst of this pandemic, just like me, I'm no different from anyone else. I always wonder why I didn't fit in this crowd, or why is it that I feel like I'm bored at this job, or why is it that as soon as I leave this job it's shut down or something happens, because I wasn't supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be doing exactly what I'm doing right now, talking to you with my co-pilot, um, figuring out how to be the best version of myself and helping you all get there one soul at a time. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. My own thing. I'm supposed to be my own boss because I can't do the work of the kingdom if I'm tied down to somebody else's schedule. Because God might say, I need you to go 2 states away and tell this woman that everything she prayed for is going to be okay if she don't give up. I can't do that if I'm on somebody else's clock. But if I'm on my own clock, I can hop in my own vehicle that He going to bless me with and go 2 states away and do what He told me to do. So that's my last point. Don't you dare come out of this pandemic the same way you went in. Free yourself, free your mind, and the rest will follow, like Ian Vogue said. Okay, co-pilot, your turn.
not okay. Your turn. What was my turn?
Tag, you're it.
What? Wait a minute. What was my turn?
I gotta say, wait. I wasn't ready.
What was my turn?
I don't know. I just thought maybe you wanted to have something else to say.
I started it off. I said
That baby
I
said,
got my.
no, I started
I
off.
started it off. I freed my mind.
But randomly speaking, it's gonna be some good things coming up on the horizon for Randomly Rain. God has already begun to open and close some major doors. Even though I was one of those people that actually was affected by this pandemic when it came down to my relationship with my husband, my relationship with some of my family members, my job. You know, it's a beautiful thing to be a child of God and truly trust Him because I haven't been hungry. Not unless I actually sat here and starved myself, you know. I do that sometimes, but that's my business, like my favorite plant mother say. Uh, I have actually been in the hospital and they basically don't know what's wrong with me. I believe it was COVID. That's just my opinion, but they didn't know what was wrong. I have, in so many ways, in my mind, feel like I've been homeless, and it had to be somebody who I never thought would be that person that has been the people that I never thought would help me the most actually help me the most. Now, of course, I know the ones that I always, you know, it just is what it is. If they can, they will. But the ones that I never thought would help me actually have helped me. When God said in Psalms 23 that He will make your enemy your footstool, He will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemy, He means just that. So many of your enemies is wondering how in the world you ain't blew your head off. How in the world you can still have a smile on your face. How in God's name can you still even talk about God and still have your faith when they have watched you go through some things that most people don't come out on the other side of? But that's why I love Him so much. As for me and my house, we're gonna serve God. I mean, I'm not, by all means, please understand that everything that you hear on this YouTube channel from Randomly Rain and my co-pilot Chance, from a Chance and Rain with me, is just my opinion and her opinion. We're not in any way, shape, form, or fashion trying to force feed anyone anything. But as for me, I know if it had not been for the Lord on my side, Psalms, I believe it's 119. I don't know where I would be. It's been so many times I should have been dead, sleeping in my grave already. But because God's grace and His favor, which is so not fair, I often ask God all the time in my prayer time, who am I that you are mindful of me? What is it that I have done that allowed you to rain down so much favor and grace and mercy upon me? That's where rain comes from because God's favor and grace and mercy rain down on me in so many random ways, but beautiful, marvelous, glorious ways that I have no choice but to give Him praise at any chance I get. So, um, it's amazing how God would take a little brown, well, not a little, big brown girl like me in the middle of my 40s or the very beginning of my 40s and allow me to start living this focused, blessed life. And people have actually been reaching out to me and saying, you know, that they're inspired by something I said, or they cried by watching something that I did, or they had an epiphany between something me, Chance, and I talked about, just having random sister moments. Because, you know, a lot of our Chance of Reigns was just random sister conversations that came up in our spirit and we ran with it. Like right now, she didn't even know she was going to be on with me. I'm sitting on the floor making a vision board. and she just happened to be here. So never allow somebody else's perception of you make you change who you are. You should always stay true to who you are. And don't be afraid to be who you are. Like Chance said, don't be afraid to be randomly you. You are royal because your Father in heaven is the king. So that's where the crown came from on my randomly rain stuff. I'm letting y'all know a little tidbits here and there. But God is sovereign. Sovereign means that He is the Father that reigns over everything. You reign over something means you rule over it. You're in control over it. So I randomly reign over my situation because my Father in heaven is the king. That means I'm a queen regardless. Because I'm too old to be a princess. I'm a queen regardless. So in my queendom, God reigns over everything. So that's what the free your mind and the rest will follow talking about. So I tell y'all what, I already been talking to y'all. Chance and I already been talking to y'all almost an hour. Your girl gonna finish working on her little vision board and finish running it with my sister off this camera because I'm pretty sure there's so much wonderful things she wants to say outside of the camera because everything she saying for everybody. Just saying. But yeah, you already know who it is and you know what it is. It's your girl Rain. This was a randomly rainstorm, Chance of Rain collaboration with that girl Lady Wolf, aka Queen Nafasi at the Inferno by Nafasi podcast and CEO of Her Chance non-profit organization that's coming to a theater near you. But I'm gonna let her tell you about her own stuff. I just shameless plug. Sorry, screw me.
Cause I ain't told nobody about that.
Sorry,
Real?
Screw me. The Bible say call those things that be not as though they were. And
no, it already is, but I haven't told nobody.
And this is the month of manifestation. So screw me. But anyway, you know I always tell y'all I'm gonna let my co-pilot tell you about what she got going on. But shameless plug. I'm so proud of my co-pilot. Y'all have no idea how much my co-pilot the student came back and passed up the teacher. That's what I always feel like whenever, she and I be having conversations about things and she had to come back and get me, come back and see about me. So, but what did our pastor tell us about Frederick? I'm gonna close it by saying this.
Girl, you play all
Pastor Keon said, where there's no struggle, there's no progress. Frederick Douglass said that. So, if you struggling right now, just know that you have to progress. As long as you're struggling moving forward, then you have to progress. Each step you take gets you closer and closer to the mark that God has you set for. Keep your eyes on the prize. Stop being afraid. Don't be like Peter that got afraid when he heard the sound. That's what the devil wants you to do, is to get caught up by the sounds that he throws out there. Don't let that man or that woman say sweet nothings in your ear and make you get distracted from what God have you to be doing. Again, I say, don't you dare leave out of this pandemic the same way you went in. Keep progressing. Keep moving. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't give out. Keep moving. So again, you know who it is. You know what it is. It's your girl Rain. Twizz up. Deuce out the roof. Love God. Love yourself. And love each other. Until the next time. Love ya. We out. Chance, you want to say bye? That girl said peace.